I told you from fact she is the person who is the executive director at the Foundation for Accountability and Civic Trust. And two high-profile ethics cases are in the news. Let's talk to Kendra Arnold. Hi, Kendra.
Hello. It's great to be here.
Oh, it's good to have you back. I haven't talked to you for a little while.
I was actually thinking that myself.
Yeah. Tell your people to send me more stuff. All right.
I will.
Yeah, thank you. You know, it's constantly in the news. If a Republican buys a house, they go to see if they, made 3 cents on it, and then they want to make a news story out of it, like they did something complicit with I don't know, the mafia. They try to make it sound as big and horrible as possible. But then you have people like AOC and Stacey Abrams getting away with massive stuff here. So let's talk about what they're doing. Let's start with Stacey Abrams, who still thinks she won and somebody cheated.
Yeah, these are two cases that we have been working on for years. And not kidding there. With the Stacey Abrams one, we have seen essentially her campaigns aided by nonprofit organizations that she has started. So we all know that nonprofits are supposed to do good in the world. They are not political. And in her case, there's one especially lately that it actually led to the largest fine in Georgia's history, the New Georgia Project. And they were fined $200,000 for essentially getting involved in campaigns and doing political work. So the state ethics committee found that they did not register as a political committee. They're a nonprofit, and they got involved in Stacey Abrams' race and several other candidates to the effect of spending and raising millions of dollars. So she had formed this nonprofit and had left it to run for governor, and then after she left it, that's right when it got involved in politics. So,
yeah. And then she accused everybody of cheating. I don't know what it is about her that is so off-putting for me. I don't know what it is, but she really, really gets under my skin.
Well, she has, it's not just that singular nonprofit either. Then she has another nonprofit that she had started before her governor's race too, which she had left. And then after she lost the race, this other nonprofit then engaged in activities that we believe looks like political activities. So they went around and had a speaking tour, a thank you tour for her, and, did other things, ran a commercial, did things that look like political activity to us. And so we had filed a second complaint with that. So I think it's that there's, multiple layers to this. It's not just a single nonprofit. There's many out there.
Crazy. And she's getting away with it. Nobody's done anything about it. So, I mean, you guys what are you doing? You filed a complaint?
So we took all of this information, and basically the Georgia Ethics Commission did fine one of the nonprofits $200,000. This other nonprofit had spent so much on the attorney's fees for the lawsuit that she brought after she lost against the state. It had spent so much on attorney's fees that it actually had to lay off significant portions of its staff, and is, we're not sure where its existence lies at this point. But so we have taken all of this information, filed the complaint with the IRS, and brought forth both of these instances to the IRS, arguing that they were used for political purposes.
Okay. And they were, so this should be cut and dry.
Right. And the State Ethics Committee found that the New Georgia Project was, and the New Georgia Project agreed. I mean, it entered into an agreement with the state, it basically admitting that it had raised and spent $4 million for Stacey Abrams and a few other candidates as well. So, that has happened. Yes, the IRS should absolutely take this and rule on it itself.
Okay. All right. So she's going to be in some hot water, but is the punishment going to fit the crime?
Well, we usually have a little difficulty with that. Oftentimes it doesn't, and that's really the problem, is that, we want it to be to the level that it's a deterrent, not just for, a punishment for this precise case, but also a deterrent for others. And the one thing that we see is with the political spending is that it happens and it's over, during the race. And then afterwards, a lot of groups don't exist. They disappear. They spend all of their money, and so they don't really care if they get a fine after the fact because they don't have it. And so that's something that we're absolutely working on, is getting these penalties imposed in a timely manner. Because if they're not imposed during the time that the entity is doing these things, so let's say this nonprofit's out spending money on, her campaign, if they're not punished during this time and the money taken so they can't do that, then it's, not very effective as a punishment.
What's the point? At that point,
Exactly.
they've already done whatever they want to do, so there is no punishment. All right, so
Exactly.
let's switch to AOC in the 5 minutes we have left, because I'm sure she's got a laundry list of don't eat meat. It's terrible. You should never eat meat. Well, my boyfriend and I go to a pub and have a hamburger. That's her. So, she didn't like to follow the rules. She likes to say, do as I say, not as I do. But AOC, what is she up to?
Well, I bet some of your listeners actually remember this case, because I think I might have come on and discussed it right when we filed it. I think it was in 2021, so almost 4 years ago. It was from when she went to the Met Gala. So she had borrowed a dress, got a ticket for herself and her partner, boyfriend at the time, for free. And we filed a complaint saying that this was a wrongful acceptance of a gift for these things. The ethics committee finally ruled and said, yes, it was. So we just got that ruling not that long ago. But you want to talk about penalties. So she was fined a little over $2,000, about $2,300. And one of the issues that with the penalty here that we see is that at the time, I think news reports were saying that the cost of a ticket to the Met Gala was $30,000, or, it was a significant sum. But under the ethics committee, the rules that they the members made for themselves, is that the cost of the ticket is the value of the meal. And so they only charged her a few $100s for the ticket. So again, this is one of those cases where, the penalty is maybe not equivalent to what you or I would think would be an appropriate penalty.
Yeah. So just the fact someone wants to marry is kind of shocking to me. But, these people are the first ones to scream and cry foul. AOC is a liar. She likes to say she was in fear for her life and hiding under the bleachers when the January 6th attack, and that was an absolute blatant outright lie. So I don't believe anything she says. I don't believe anything. But she is definitely a socialist on the rise. She couldn't even believe it when she got elected. And now she's doing nefarious things as suspected. I knew if she got any kind of power or push behind her name, she was going to turn into one of those people. And here we are.
I think both of these cases that we've been talking about it brings it back to the people to be very vigilant about demanding that the ethics rules are enforced. Because what we see is, especially with the ethics committee in the House, is it's members policing members writing the ethics laws and then enforcing them against their own colleagues. So obviously, there is some reluctance there to do that. And the real line of defense to stop this is the citizens. I mean, we really encouraged everyone to demand that even the party that they're voting for, their party that they prefer, that they adhere to the ethics rules strictly, because that's the only way that we're going to get them enforced, is by the citizens demanding they are enforced. And otherwise, you'll continue to see these types of cases where it really damages the public trust when we see our representatives getting gifts and, going to, as she said, lavish events that, weren't accessible to them before. It's obvious then that the office has perks. It's not just a public service. And so that's why we've got to have the citizens really really find this to be an important issue.
Yeah, and the arms of justice have got to be the same length, and they've got to hold the same weight. You know, it's shocking to me how they're mad about John Bolton, they're mad about this, they're mad about that. When they thought it was funny when they were going through Melania's underwear drawer. The whole thing just stinks, and it's a one-edged sword at this point, and I think the tables are turning because the man in charge right now, I wouldn't say he's out for revenge, but he's out to get to the bottom of what happened to him and why. And I think he's doing a good job of it. And I know you guys fight for that every day on both sides to watch for accountability and civic trust, and appreciate what you do.
Thank you so much. Yep, we want every one of our elected officials to be accountable to the people and follow the rules. It's very important because it really damages, our government when the rules aren't upheld and enforced.
Yeah, and it affects us as a people because we don't trust anybody. Then people don't get out and vote, and then we have low turnout and horrible people get in office because people think it doesn't count. So. There's all that.
Yes.
All right. Kendra Arnold, Executive Director of FACT, where they go to learn more, my dear?
They can go to our website at factdc.org.
Factdc.org. Do it today. Kendra, good to talk to you again.
Great to talk to you, too.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.